Hello, everybody. My name is Delphine Clement. I work for an organization called ITC, International Trade Center. So we are the joint organization of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. So you might be wondering why we are here at Source Fashion in London. Well, let me explain. So we're here within the framework of the UKTP program. UKTP stands for United Kingdom Trade Partnerships. So we have funding from the UK government to support developing countries and their textile and garment industries to connect to UK markets and identify and work with potentially UK buyers. So thanks to the support of the UK government, we are sponsoring approximately 15 companies to exhibit here at Source Fashion and explore the UK market. Also, the objective of the UKTP program is to also sensitize the garment industry stakeholders to understand the benefits of DCTS. Sorry for the acronym. DCTS is the Developing Countries Trading Scheme. It's a new quota duty-free scheme that the UK has established since June 2023 to enable and foster trade between approximately 65 developing countries and the UK. If you want to know more about who we are, what we do with textile and garment companies in developing countries, I have some flyers and booklets here, and you can also come and talk to us, after the session. But what we would like to do during this session now is invite you and travel with us to Africa and Asia. We have companies coming from Tanzania, Ethiopia, Nepal, Madagascar, and Ghana. These names might resonate to you about maybe touristic destinations or holidays destination. When we hear about Tanzania, we might think more about beautiful beaches in Zanzibar or, summiting the Kilimanjaro. And hearing about Nepal, you might first think about the Everest or, hiking in the Himalayas. But what you might not know is that these countries also host very vibrant and dynamic textile and garment industries and companies with very, very specific products. Organic cotton in Tanzania, for example, Pashmina in Nepal, and many other very specific and skilled labor and products. So we'll hear about them because they have their experience, their business stories to share with you. So maybe, Helen, we can start with you. Helen, you come from Tanzania. You've been living there for approximately 30 years, and you created a business of hand-woven cotton fabric in Dar es Salaam. Can you tell us a bit more about your business and the people you also employ in Dar?
Okay, so I've been living in Tanzania for coming on 30 years. I started my hand-weaving business probably now about 15 years ago. I initially was I moved to Tanzania initially with my husband as an architect, so we were working in architectural practices there. And then early on, I found I started with carpentry, making furniture from basically it was old boats because there wasn't furniture available. And then later on, probably this is coming back about 15 years ago, we actually built our own looms. So we built our hand looms from scratch. And one of the reasons is similar to there was no furniture, I struggled to get furniture, I struggled to get cotton sheets. Tanzania being a cotton growing country, I found it strange we were importing our fabrics from, mostly at that stage it was India. So we started our hand weaving project in Tanzania. And that was, going back 15 years ago. Now we built our looms partly because we're starting on sheets very wide, so our looms are 2.5 meters wide. So we do a lot of sheets and duvets. We buy only locally grown cotton, organic cotton. So we start off with kind of spools of yarn, 2 kilo spools of yarn. We dye the yarn by hand. We do a big variety of different weaves. We've been quite lucky to have been able to work with, we've had some interns, particularly Danish interns, working with the weavers and teaching them new skills. So yeah, we're now 16 people in total in the workshop. So we moved on from only doing the sheets. We entered Swahili Fashion Week, and we also do our own range of clothing. And we work quite a lot with designers. Mostly at this point would be in Nairobi. So we produce fabric for them to sometimes to their design, or they're usually quite interested in our design. Yeah, thank you.
So we're staying in the same region and moving up north to Ethiopia. Ibret, you are heading the Hawassa Industrial Park Association, which is one of the largest industrial parks composed of textile and garment manufacturers in Ethiopia. Can you maybe just provide a quick overview of how does the garment industry looks like in Ethiopia? What kind of companies are composed of your industrial park? What type of products and they produce, and to whom are they selling?
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So I work at the Hawassa Industrial Park. I am the CEO of the Hawassa Industrial Park Investors Association. The Hawassa Industrial Park is the largest industrial park dedicated for textile and garment in Ethiopia, sitting on 1.6 million square meters, about 30,000 workers working in the park. In Ethiopia, there are a few industrial parks dedicated for garment and for other sectors, but specifically for garment and textile. Because Ethiopia, being the second largest, the second most populous nation in the country, in Africa, and a lot of young population, the government is working strongly to support the garment and textile sector, because it's a sector that requires relatively low capital and that can create quickly a large employment opportunity. In Hawassa Industry Park, there are 22 companies, mostly from Asia, Sri Lankan, Indian, Chinese, and some Ethiopian, exporting to the US principally, but also to Europe, working with brands like Decathlon, PVH like Calvin Klein, Levi's, The Children's Place. We've been exporting our major destination has been to the US, but recently, after losing the duty-free access to the US, a lot of the companies are looking for diversifying their supply. They want to work with the Europeans. We're looking more and more to the European market and to the UK market. That's why we're here. I'd like to thank again ITC for the support, and we're looking forward to talk to you for other opportunities. Thank you very much.
No, you can give. Kafle comes from Nepal. He's part of an association promoting Pashmina producers. And I don't know if you know, but in Nepal, you produce Chiranjivi Pashmina, which is one of the most luxurious fiber in the world. It's very specific to Nepal. So maybe can you tell us a bit more about the cashmere that is produced specifically in Nepal by goats living in high plateaus in the Himalayas? And who are the people also involved in the value chain of Chiranjivi Pashmina?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Delphine. I would like to inform you that Chiranjivi Pashmina, Chiranjivi is a pure Nepalese word to denote the high mountain goat, which is called the Chiranjivi. We have registered internationally more than 47 countries, including EU and UK as well. And the peoples lives in Himalayas. They cattle the mountain goats, and then the fiber comes up from the mountain growth, and we have modified them to the fiber and to the ultimately the fashions, and we promote our members. More than 100 members are producing such a small level of manufacturing, including garment and scarves, accessories at all, and then when we work for, we facilitate to our member to give them the better educations and then the better products to be supplied in the international market. That's it.
So now, flying back to Africa, but stopping on Madagascar, a beautiful island in the Indian Ocean. Narindra, you are the CEO of ANAKA, a company. You're producing very beautiful, handcrafted accessories and bags, mainly made out of raffia. Can you tell us a bit more about your business, how you started producing these beautiful bags? Who are also your workers, who are mainly women? How do you train them? And also, to whom are you maybe selling, maybe in the UK already or in Europe?
Thank you, Delphine. Thank you, first of all, for UTC to give us this opportunity to be here and discover England brand, London brand. My name is Narindra, like she introduced. I'm the owner of the company Lana L'Atelier, who own the brand ANAKA. So it specializes in accessories made from raw material locally sourced in Madagascar as a raffia, well known as a raffia, the fiber sisal, and we have many straw around in Madagascar. So I'm specialized on the technique. That's why I started beginning this company, because it begins when I was young, because I'm local, I'm a Malagasy person, but we have this French culture. We've been own colony, French colony before. So since I was young, I learned how to, and woven, I learned how to knit and everything. So I had this opportunity to study overseas in Europe and then in US. So I wanted to give the chance for women in Madagascar to have the skill and to be able, to do nice bags that can have the pride to see work on the cat show for really famous brands. So I work mostly with women and to try to give them the independence. And how I started to beginning work with brands, well-known brands, premium and luxury brand, because I translate the skill of Madagascar to the standards, to the European standard, American standards. So that's how, with our ethical and with sustainability in Madagascar, we had putting foot in the business of well-known famous brands. So I'm the designer of the company as well, because I'm expert on the techniques. So during all the year, I provide this training to my workers, even if they don't have any knowledge about the techniques. I'm giving them this opportunity to be independent and giving them always work during all the year and the training. So that's a good, really, I'm fighting for that, because as you know, Madagascar is an African country and the independence is not well known for a woman. So that's some work on this. And the second part as well, that famous brands like to work with me, is that I have a standard for sustainability of my company. And of course, we have unique skills. We have unique raw material as the raffia. Even if it's done in China or other country, it comes from Madagascar. And as well, we always try to develop new skills, new techniques that can be developed in the industry. Because I have this chance to develop the product with the designers of a big brand company in Europe. So we had this opportunity to teach them and make beautiful accessories.
Thank you, Narindra. And now moving on to Prashant, who comes from Ghana. Prashant, so you're a part of an organization called Ethical Apparel Africa. It's an organization that works with local Ghanaian women-owned factories and support them to make the leap to export. So can you tell us a little bit more how your organization operates with these different factories and how do you support them to make the next step to become ready for export?
Thank you for the introduction. I am Prashant from Ethical Apparel Africa. So this is UK-based company operating in Ghana, West Africa. The reason why UK-based company is operating in Ghana, we found there are many small-scale garment industries struggling to do export orders. They are just performing domestic orders. So we found them, they are good potential factories. They can do decent amount of export orders if they get a support in terms of technical and compliance and other garment industrial standards. So we, Ethical Apparel Africa, so start providing them those necessary support to perform to export level those garment industries. So that's how we are there. And from last 6 years, we did more than 3 factories to do their first export order in Ghana. This is how we are performing.
Okay, thank you so much. Just to come back a little bit on the framework of a program, I mentioned that the UK is supporting these different businesses in developing countries to take advantages of the developing countries trading scheme. The idea of this scheme is supporting different objectives. It's sort of a win-win situation for the UK and for these developing nations. It's at the same time with providing preferences and duty-free for trade. It's in a way supporting growth in these developing countries by supporting and fostering trade, especially in the textile and garment sector. And as Hibra had pointed it out, the garment factories is very labor-intensive. Therefore, you can provide a lot of work and in employment for the local population, especially women or young people who do not necessarily have, diplomas. It's also at the same time supporting UK businesses in building supply chain resilience and helping businesses to diversify their sourcing destinations and partners. And at the same time, of course, it's also the idea of, through trade, fostering peace and diplomacy and strengthening ties through economic partnerships between the countries and between the UK and these developing countries. So maybe going back to you, Helen, we know that sustainability is a key topic for any businesses, especially willing to engage with new business partners. What can you say about sustainability, whether it's like dealing with your environmental footprint or social issues with your workers? How would you define your business as sustainable, or how do you live sustainability in the daily life of your business?
Well, we only use Tanzanian cotton, and we're mostly organic cotton, so we generally work with organic cotton. We're hand weavers, so we don't use electricity. Tanzania, we still have some power cuts and water shortages, so we use very minimum electricity and water. I mean, it's hand weaving, so. And with the weavers, we also do quite a lot of training as well. Like our employees are I said we have 15 staff, and some of them have come already. When they started with us, they knew how to weave, but they weren't weaving. They were unemployed. So we've actually given them jobs, a stable income, and also a lot of pride in what they do as well. And the way we work in Tanzania is, it's all very open. We have a workshop, and it's probably on about an acre of land. So the idea is people can come in, visit the workshop, meet the weavers. We also have a tailoring department, and just literally meet everybody that's there so they can understand the amount of work that goes into it. Sustainability, we use organic cotton, and we're hand weavers, so it's pretty sustainable and pretty slow work. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. So you'll understood this question is, this time it's mainly focused on sustainability, so I will ask the same questions to all of you so you can prepare. But Ibret, in Ethiopia, what are the key aspects that make the Ethiopian manufacturers sustainable, whether it's complying to sustainability standards or the way they operate in their production process?
Thank you. So for Ethiopia, it's a bit different. In the supply chain, we do a lot of CM, right? So we have less control on the raw materials because we import a lot of the raw materials. But we do have a control over our production activities. The first thing in Ethiopia is energy. Ethiopia uses 100% hydroelectric energy, 100% renewable energy. All the factories, the garment factories, textile factories, operating in Ethiopia utilize this renewable energy. The other is in places like the industry parks, the IPDC, which is the government body, that is the landlord, if you like, has a control over the waste management. So what we do is we have licensed collectors of scraps, for example, and other wastes that is controlled. So scrap is mostly recycled into either a new fiber or it's used for mattresses and other stuffs. And the other is water usage. Water usage in the industry park, in Hawassa Industry Park and other government IPs. We have what we call a zero liquid discharged. Every water that goes out goes back, recycled, filtered, and goes back to the factories. The Hawassa Industry Park, as you know, is quite known for this. It has a zero liquid discharge that's fully functional. And in the other way also, if we talk about the social sustainability, in most of the garment factories, Ethiopia would have the garment manufacturing exporters have created around 200,000 jobs. Mostly 85% of the workforce are women, mostly coming from the rural areas. So we do work a lot in introducing them to the city life, integrating them, training them at the beginning. And also we work on training the workers. A lot of the companies are unionized. They have workers' unions, so they can understand their rights also. So these are some of the activities that we do in terms of sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibret. Same question to you, Kafle. Can you explain a bit more how sustainable are the production practices of Changra Pashmina producers along the value chain, and how also being involved in this production also helps, improves a lot of the livelihoods of many people in Nepal?
Thank you so much again. Most of our farmers and the workers who work our industry are women. More than 50,000 people in total is engaging in this our industry. I think 80% of them are women, and we give them the training for the farmers that it builds up the versatiles and the skilled labor force. And the women who get these skills and who works inside the whole process of the industry, it creates the better life standards for them as well. And because in terms of health care, better education, because the mountain goats, cattle in the very high mountains, the life is very difficult at that. And then we give them better training, and employment opportunity makes them to build up the strong. And mostly we don't use harmful chemicals to produce our products. We normally use the Himalayan spring water to wash them, and we zero waste policy we use on that. And we normally use the organic and the agro-free dyes as well. So it helps us to produce our sustainability, I think so.
Okay, thank you. Narindra, you already mentioned a lot that you're working with natural fibers that is locally produced in Madagascar called raffia. So in terms of environment, you clearly ticking the box of sustainability. And then you said you were working mainly with women. Can you also tell us how do you explain to your customers, who are, we will not name them, but some are luxury brands in France, but also here in the UK. How do you explain to them, how you comply to their requirements in terms of sustainability?
Yes. As I said before, as I mentioned before, we use all the raw material locally sourced in Madagascar. I make sure because like I said before, it was unique because I always try to find new raw material, even so really the part that you can really get access easily. And I make sure that the process follow the requirements about the process. I go directly to see the farmland, for collectors, to make sure they work equally, ethically, and in sustainability. And about the environment, I founded the NGO Lana ANAKA, which is for planting tree in the south of Madagascar, then make sure that all the products made by my company is carbon free. So it's one thing that really impact them because we know everybody wants to reduce their carbon print. So this is one thing, that even if Madagascar is 10,000 away from Europe, so for them it's really important to know that. And the second part is, of course, women. It's really impacts their communication about the product because, like I said, I work mostly 80% of my workers are women, and I provide always as well, education for their kids that they can do their work in peace and work all the year and make beautiful bags. And on the other side as well, I'm trying to give, opportunity for the women to grow. So it's a company 100% Malagasy. So there's no foreigner who run the company, even in the middle management and everywhere. It's from the bottom to the top, all Malagasy people. And I do as well promote, from the bottom, and give them training to have this opportunity. If they didn't have the chance to have education, we've just, I put the person first, not the quality of their background, everything, because I think when someone is motivated, we can give them a chance. I did have this chance to study abroad, so I give them the training, information, and education from here. So that's those different parts really impact for the brand. Thank you.
Thank you. And Prashant, so we heard that Ethical Apparel Africa was built with the idea of helping women and helping women also to grow their business. So how is sustainability, whether it's environment or social, is embedded in your whole business strategy in a way?
Yes, at the moment we most focused on compliance and worker well-being. We partner with Levi Strauss Foundation and regularly monitoring our employee well-being records with Levi Strauss Foundation. And as I mentioned, when we work with partner factories, we also motivate them to follow compliance standards. EAA will work having dedicated compliance team with us, and they visit regularly with the partner factories and try to implement health and safety measures. and also women empowerment. And we strongly believe gender equity. The tradition opportunities like mechanics, linemen, we would like to train women for those opportunities as well. So 50%, more than 50% of our workforce as women in our companies. So and training middle management to the next level is also very, very important and sustainable for companies. So we also having several training projects internally to do that. So we continue doing that in terms of sustainable.
Okay, great. Thank you. I see time is running, and it's the end of almost the end of the show. So just to sum up very quickly, but we'll be staying here a while if you have any questions. But to sum up, DCTS, duty-free. Be curious and do not be afraid to explore maybe new countries and sourcing destinations you would have not thought of in Africa, in Asia. These companies are, supported by the UN, supported by the UK government. They comply to all the sustainability requirements. They are very, very much engaged in their business, but also in contributing also to the livelihoods and to their communities. So let's make trade a vehicle also for growth and improved livelihoods. So thank you so much for having taken the time to listen to us. And we're still around, and you still have 1 or 2 hours to come and visit the stands of these companies. So thank you so much, and maybe see you soon.